everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I will be reviewing Namie Amuro final best of Finally. Before we get started, I want to remind you that this is simply my opinion on the best of, and if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more. Finally is the final release from Namie Amuro, who is retiring next year on the day of her 26th career anniversary next September. When it was announced, I think like many, I was shocked. I always thought that she would never stop somehow, and it left me with a feeling I never quite got before, a sadness I never experienced, and that's to tell you how much her music has had an impact on my life for the past 11 years that I've listened to her. Finally had a very difficult task ahead of itself. It needed to be worth it. I mean, sure, best ofs always sell, especially in Japan, but the problem with them, especially for longtime fans, is that we usually know everything that there is to know about the songs on those releases. And to go against our expectations, for Finally, Namie re-recorded 39 songs out of the 52 present on it. Basically all the most famous songs from her debut until 2014. And if I was overjoyed at the idea of hearing older songs like Don't Wanna Cry, Mr. USA sung with her actual voice, I was skeptical about the most recent ones like Love Story, Tsuki. Basically any that came out for the last 10 years were fine songs, so why record them again? Well, Finally is an excellent best of. And I don't say it lightly. I spent about 6 hours listening again from beginning to end, and I felt like I was almost in a trance because I was so focused on every little details. So let's start with the obvious, the new recordings of the oldest songs from Namie's discography. They are all great overall, especially hearing Mr. USA and all the Super Monkeys songs sung with Namie's actual voice. It really made me emotional. These songs are so cheesy and yet so adorable. I'm so glad 5 songs from that era were included in there. And when it comes to the songs that established Namie as a solo singer, I'm glad to say they are all great. I do believe some arrangements were updated to let them be in higher quality than when they were recorded. It's sometimes very subtle, like on You're My Sunshine or Never End, where they are slightly modified, but you can hear the difference if you compare both originals and their updated versions. I think it's great that even the songs themselves were reworked even a little bit, and we just don't get Namie's new vocals on them, and it's pretty much some very subtle reworks on the melodies. And what really is interesting with those songs for the most part is obviously Namie's new vocals. She really sounds great on all of the songs from this best of, and especially on older songs. It's great to have her have a new take about 20 years later. But even on the most recent ones from the last 10 years, I was pleasantly surprised to hear a difference, which I wasn't sure was going to be the case, especially on songs like Tsuki or Love Story, but you do hear the difference in the vocals. It's sometimes not too obvious, but you can still hear it. I was surprised by how this best of flows so well, to be quite honest. It contains such a different variety of songs that created 25 years of evolution, different music styles, and it's quite an achievement to hear a clear representation of what her career has been. And I think it's done beautifully here in the most efficient way possible. Another thing that I noticed is how this best of primary goal was to put Namie's vocals on the foreground, and that meant giving us some really surprising new reworks, and especially on the second CD where on songs like Can't Sleep, Can't Eat, I'm Sick, it favors a higher chorus than the original. Or even Rock Steady that tones down its melody to allow us to hear every voice effects, which makes the song different and a lot more appealing. Same goes for Doctor, which is surprisingly different, and the choruses are a lot more powerful and dramatic than its original counterpart. Another example is Break It, which benefits from these very funky couplets while retaining the rock elements of the original, and all are mixed together to give us another very interesting take on the song. Another thing that this best of accomplished is to make me like songs that I was never quite a fan of. Get Myself Back has a more music box, less cheesy approach that made me enjoy it a lot. Damage is another example of arrangements updated quite well, and I was never a fan of the original, but with a better electronic vibe added to it, it really made me like this 2017 version a lot. Now let's talk about a few disappointments. Now, if the new arrangements and recordings work for the most part on the most recent part of Namie's discography, I have to say some did disappoint me. New look, melody-wise is fine, but the vocals aren't as enthusiastic as the original, and if anything, Namie's voice sounds very flat, almost as if she's about to fall asleep. Contrail I found to be the biggest disappointment. Undermine the reworked melody, but Namie's voice during the couplets make it sound like a duck. And I kid you not, that was my immediate thought the first time I heard the song. Then you get songs like Love Story, Sit, Stay, Wait, Down, even Tsuki that don't really benefit from the new recordings as the melodies are unchanged, and even if you can hear the subtle changes in her voice, it still feels like it wasn't necessary to record them again. They were fine before and they're still fine now. And finally, I have to mention the new exclusive songs included in this best of. I liked most of them. Favorites are definitely Into and Do It For Love, both amazing electronic songs that reflect her more recent work quite well. Hope definitely is an interesting one, especially structure-wise. I like the rhythm and it's quite a cheerful one. Christmas Wish is a fantastic Christmas song. I've heard it since last year, but it's still so good. It's so cheesy and Christmassy. It's just perfect for now. Showtime, super fun. Definitely has a sassy attitude to it that I found great. How Do You Feel Now is the one that I couldn't quite get into. But no surprises here, this song has been produced by Tetsuya Komuro, Namie's first collaborator from an early days, and you can tell as this song sounds a little bit too dated, and considering it's a brand new one, I think you have to take it for the nostalgia more than anything, as it feels a bit out of place among the newest songs. The song that concludes this best of bears the same name, Finally, and it is a gorgeous ballad. Simplicity is key here, and once again Namie delivers. And it feels very, very bittersweet to hear it, as it officially concludes not only the best of, but Namie's career as well, and I think it's a beautiful way to do so. Alright, I think I covered most of what I wanted to say about this best of. It was really a challenge to get through it all at once, but what surprised me is how easy it actually was, as it flows so well, and overall I found it to be a delight. There was a clear effort made to provide more than one reason to buy it, whether it's for the new songs or the new recordings, and there are a couple of surprises that add to the lot. Namie clearly worked hard on this, and for a final send-off, it fulfills its part of the bargain quite easily. It's a great piece of work for fans, and if you've always wanted to get into Namie's music, it really gives you a great look at 25 years of music. And that is why I give this best of 5 stars. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to tell me what you think of Finally in the comment section down below, and I'll see you next time.